All right, what's up, y'all? All right, so look, it's been something that's kind of been bothering me lately. For those who don't know, I got a clip from the first Gen of Life episode where I kind of explained how, like, the fathers, when it pertains to autism, should be a little more inviting to the subject, right? So, and you can go watch it. I'll have it linked down below or something. But the issue that I have is that I feel like a lot of the women, mothers, whatever have you, kind of take that and use it as ammunition. First of all, I was talking to fathers when it pertains to autism and how I feel like fathers should be more accepting and more willing to work through the problems of dealing with having an autistic child, right? But I don't feel like it's right for women to take that and use it to kind of deconstruct a man or a man's feelings about having an autistic child without at least first understanding why a man would pull back in a situation where he has an autistic child. Like I said, first of all, I was talking to men, right? I know this channel has 90% high 90% of women viewers, but that's still no right to disclude or discount how a man feels about it. In my opinion, that's exactly why a man would pull back in a situation or even push back in a situation like this. You only get to see two sides of one spectrum. You either tend to see a woman praise a man for being involved, or you see a man bashed or belittled for not being involved. So the issue is that you never see the in-between. You never see why a man stays as strong as he is in the situation. And you never see why a man will pull back from a situation like this. I think that's the first problem. The problem with this is not the autism. It's not the fact that there's an autistic child that was born from a man. The problem is that the man side of things is never considered, whether he's doing good or bad, whether he's involved or discluded. So I think that's something to think about when it comes to this. Like, there's a lot of men who in society who don't get a voice when it comes to things, right? So women are natural feelers. Men are natural thinkers. Regardless of the nuances, get rid of the nuances. In nature, women are natural feelers and men are natural thinkers. That's how we're wired. That's not to say that a man can't feel and a woman can't think, but that's to say by nature, a woman is a feeler, a nurturer, which involves feelings, which involves a certain level of care, which involves things that pertain to feelings. And men are natural thinkers. We have challenges, we have obstacles, we have competitions, we have wars, we have things that make us have to think in order to be successful, in order to win, in order to operate as a man. But in this particular situation that I'm speaking about, a man's feelings is never considered, which a man thinks, and yes, he does feel, So what happens is when you discredit or discount how a man feels about something just because he's a thinker, you end up losing the reasoning for why a man would do what a man would do. So for example, if you have a man that pulls back from having an autistic child, why would that be? That's what's never talked about. All that we pay attention to is the fact that he pulled back, or that he left, or that he couldn't handle it and he ran. But nobody considers the why of these things, and that's extremely disturbing to me. I'm in this situation. I am still here because I care, right? I think that there are other ways to handle these situations. Not every man is like that. Not every man should be like that. I am an individual, just like the next man is who he is. But at the same time, the why is 9 times out of 10 the same thing, or something very similar. Because we all operate with the same capacity of thought. What we think dictates how we move. So to completely just discredit or not even care about the why is why a man would leave or why a man would stay. But a person only gonna take something for so long before they just either defeat the problem or delete the problem. And by delete, I mean run from it. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there are factors at play that I feel like women could help with to make a man care. The women, I'm speaking to the women, you have a power through feelings, through care, that has the ability and the power to completely change a man's thought pattern or thought process. So if you have a man anytime, and this is my opinion, everything about this is my opinion, first of all, let me just say that. But if you have a situation where a man runs from the situation or runs from the problem, it's because 9 times out of 10, it's because he felt like nobody cared about his position or his stance on the subject. It's not because he's weak all the time. It can be, and there's a lot of times when I'm pretty sure there are times where a man gets weak and he runs. But see, we're taught as men and boys through nature, not through somebody's words, but through life, we're taught to pick your battles wisely. So when you see a man run from a situation, 9 times out of 10, it's because he feels like or thinks that there is no way that he could win because he doesn't have an army behind him. He doesn't have his woman defending him. Women have lost the idea of protecting their man because everybody feels like a man's only role is to protect the women. Well, yes, that is true. But who takes care of the man so that he's in tip-top shape to be able to fight more battles for you or for the women? Even in the army, you would have in the army, in a particular unit, you would have a platoon at least. Where I was stationed at Fort Hood, the terms were different, right? We had squadrons and we had troops, right? So within a troop, there are multiple platoons. And in those platoons, or in the squadron, there is always a troop that is for medical. I'm trying to say this in layman's terms, but every unit has a medical troop that would nurse a soldier back to health when they're beat and broken. You nurse them so that they can get back out in the field. You patch them up so that they can go fight again. But if there was no medical truth and you got somebody that gets shot on the battlefield and nobody is there to nurse him, he can only do so much himself. You can only patch yourself up so far before you need somebody else to get you back to health, to jump back into the fight. Well, if as men, we don't have a nurse to nurse us back to health to go fight again, you're gone. So I don't understand why the idea of a woman being, it's not just about a man being a backbone for his family. Sometimes a man needs a backbone. Sometimes a man needs additional help to get him mentally back into the fight. But if he doesn't have that, there's eventually the fight is over. Because he can't do it himself. He can't do everything himself. If I told y'all the story of how we got to this Genolife thing would not happen if it didn't take for me to help myself and also have some form of help. But little do you know, I'm hurt and I'm broken inside too. There's times when I need help. There's times when I don't receive help. But I can only patch myself up so much. Which is why doing this very thing of talking to y'all by myself is extremely hard to do. It's hard for me to talk. I'm pretty sure I'm autistic too. Everybody in this household, I'm pretty sure is autistic. How this came about, whether it's by chance or by nature, who knows? But Miko is the only one diagnosed, but she's not the only one that's autistic in this house. And we're just finding this out based off of Miko because she sparked the idea. But again, there are times when I need help and I don't receive the help. I'm just being honest. And in them times that I don't need help, there's a lack of content. There's a lack of energy in this household that prevents things or prevents us from being able to help you guys. You guys, a lot of times, are strength for us to keep going. Little do y'all know, we need y'all as much as y'all need us. And I'm saying this I'm saying this as a fact and also as a figure of speech too. Right? There are nuances to everything. So don't take this like it's gospel. But at the same time, like, again, this universe is a duality. One thing cannot change everything. So just be more considerate to the men in your life or your child's life, because a lot of times a man will never show it, but a man is broken on the inside. And all he needs a lot of times is just somebody to care. And that would change a man's whole way of thinking. So just if I could ask anything or help with anything, it's just to say be considerate about a man's mental. Because if you was able to nurse his mental back to health, he will continue the fight. So I just want to jump on here and say that, you know, if y'all got comments about anything I said, don't hesitate to, to comment below. And I love having discussions. This is what I love to do. I love to talk. I love to talk. I love to think. I love to share. That's what I love to do. But sometimes getting on this social media thing is kind of hard for me to do because I see a lot of instances where people don't care. Now, vice versa, I see a lot of times when people do show that they care. We see it all the time. Y'all show us so much love, and I appreciate that. I'll show gratitude for that. I've never said it before. I'm saying it now. Like, thank y'all. But I'm only one man. Like, there are other people who could use that same support, and And a lot of times they sitting right next to you, or they in your life in one way, shape, or form. Just be considerate about that, and I guarantee you things would change. So, y'all have a good one, man. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.